everybody, and welcome back to the internet's best reactions. Today we are here, as you may well see, on a beach in Miami. Yes, we've been out here the whole week thanks to Codemasters and the brand new F1 22 game, EA Sports, the whole works, sorting us out a treat this week, and it's been incredible. You might be able to hear the tunes in the background, but that doesn't matter. Who needs backing songs when you've got music here at the FTX Off the Grid, and it is raining, but that's not going to stop us. Let's talk about the Miami GP. Right, let's talk about the race then, and it is starting to pour even more, but hopefully that's going to give you even more entertainment. At Hurricane Barca, surprisingly clean first lap there. It was indeed. We spoke about the Miami GP potentially being a bit of chaos, a bit narrow, especially that last sector, but it was nothing. It was all good. Charles Leclerc got a great start, but Max Verstappen crucially managed to get ahead of Carlos Sainz. It is still getting very, very wet, and this is what we needed for the race, but we didn't get it. We had Lando Norris a little bit later instead. Actually, I forgot to talk about this meme, but I'm going to include it right now. At Daniel Delwy10, Martin Brundleman. Let's just talk about that grid walk. We don't usually talk about the pre-race, but that was absolute chaos. He was just going up to people, getting completely mixed up as to who they actually were, which was brilliant. The man was about 7 foot tall. I don't know who it was either, to be fair. But Martin just went full sarcasm, and I enjoyed absolutely every single second of that. So For some things, the Miami GP was great because it was a bit awkward, a bit cringy, and it was fine. But then when we got to the police escorts and the helmets on the podium, that's probably where I would draw the line. At Johnty's_corner, commentary, track temperature is very high. The tyres, I mean, I cannot tell you how hot I have been the entire week here. I mean, the humidity as well, starting to rain, and it just gets very sticky indeed. However, we didn't have any rain for the race, which I'm completely shocked about because it just rains randomly in Florida, which I found out, never been here before. Just 5 minutes, 35 degrees, absolutely lovely, not a cloud in the sky. Next thing, monsoon. But we didn't get any of that for the race. At Entertainment_F1, Carlos Sainz P2, Max in the speedy Red Bull. As I say, very crucial for Max to have got ahead of Carlos at the start. Carlos couldn't really have done anything either. I'm not going to say, he could have defended better, because by the time he'd got his launch, Max was already side by side, couldn't brake any later. Max got P2, and it still feels really weird that I'm holding a microphone. It gets stuck in my beard as well, so that's really quite uncomfortable. At Tom the Mad Hatter, DRS working like a rocket. Now, I think there was one pass that was right at the beginning that did seem very easy, and I think if a driver has better tyres, it is actually easy around this track. But then again, especially in the Ferrari Red Bull battle, especially with Ferrari not actually being that quick in a straight line, it seemed to be okay. I don't know, there are definitely tweaks that need to be made for this Miami GP circuit, turn 11 for example, some safety changes, maybe some tweaking of the DRS and when it can be activated. But personally, and it's not just because I've been here, I actually think that maybe there is potential for this track. It just needs a few things ironing out. It's here for 10 years, so we've got to iron them out rather than get rid of it. So we didn't have any crashes, but we had Fernando Alonso going like an absolute madman on lap 1. At DZJJWW, Alonso at the start be like. Yet it is popping here, by the way. You can probably hear the songs, and I'm loving life. But yes, Alonso had a great start, and he was also loving life. I think he was up to P7 at the beginning, and Fernando was absolutely vibing at the start. Didn't work out so well towards the end, but hey, Fernando showing he's still got it at the tender age of 40 plus. Now, of course, one thing that came out of Imola was the fact that Hamilton was stuck behind Gasly for what seemed like, I think, about P37 for the entirety of the race. He came up behind him again in this race at Tommy T1308. Lewis behind Gasly again. But there wasn't too much shock because he got through pretty quickly. So thankfully for Lewis, it wasn't too bad. Now, of course, Charles Leclerc had a good start. And I was absolutely vibing, chilling, this is all good in the hood. And then, unfortunately, lap 9 it all changed. At a bull named Max, I could hear Matt's heartbreak heartbreak on lap 9 from here. Now, I knew it was very much Saudi Arabia vibes. It was Charles Leclerc in the lead. But then as soon as Max got into that DRS zone, I knew it was not going to work out, okay? I tried to teach Charles Leclerc how to brake properly. And, on the F1 22 game, you would have seen that earlier in the week. But it didn't seem to work out. I'm actually welling up slightly because I wanted to see him win. I wasn't actually at the track today, but I still wanted to see him win. And I don't know, is that my fault? I'm sure you will let me know in the comments if me being here is my fault. Now, we did see a quite spicy move from Daniel Ricciardo on Yuki Tsunoda, I think it was. At Maldonado Zuero says, did Daniel Ricciardo just figure out the brakes? It was a pretty nice move, but probably the only highlight of the race because McLaren for some reason, I say for some reason, Lando, for example, was completely screwed by having a slow pit stop and then coming out in a DRS train and then was stuck behind drivers that hadn't stopped, and then Danny Rick just didn't have a great race either. We actually made a video, and maybe it's our fault, that we actually made a video about the fact that McLaren went from 0 points to the podium, and now we need to make a video about how they went from the podium back to out the points again. Sorry, McLaren. At Sidenyer et, Red Bulls on the straights. They are just quick, aren't they? I don't like hearing it when Leclerc's in the lead, Verstappen's in second, hunting him down, and then the commentary come over and go, by the way, just to remind you, the Red Bulls are about 6 miles an hour quicker on a straight line. That's not what I want to hear. That's really not what I want to hear. And it didn't work out because that's how he made the move, with a bit more extra straight line speed. But I'm okay. I'm absolutely okay. At Shrimp_F1, Crofty saying Hamilton is Bottas's teammate. Crofty had a bit of a mare this week, didn't he? Not only that, but he confused Vettel and Stroll for the entirety of a battle. And I don't know. He must have maybe been on a few too many cocktails in Miami. I don't know. But he doubled down on the Vettel and Stroll identities. He really did. At one point, I was like, am I wrong? Is the classification wrong? Are the colours on the T-cams wrong? They weren't wrong. Now, I knew there was going to be a meme that came out about this. Of course, as you would have seen earlier on in the week, we did a sponsored video with EA Sports and Codemasters for the brand new F1 22 game, and we filmed it with Charles Leclerc at Nacho Menardez. Now we know who to blame about that turn 9 mistake. I don't think so. He told me 135 metres. I braked at 90, testing it out. And he clearly tested it out as well during the race, because they lost so much time at that hairpin. Turn 17, I think it was, where if you just ran a little bit wide, there was just no grip. And then all of a sudden, a second and a half is down the toilet. Not good. Now, there was a moment in the race for all Sergio Perez fans who probably their heart dropped, where Sergio lost a huge amount of time. At Carlos Sainz, Checo's engineer, when asked to check the car. No, I don't think I will. I love how he came over the radio and he was like, you've just lost the toe, mate. And then it was like 7 seconds, the gap between himself and Sainz ahead. I know that the team radios are slightly delayed, but I did find it funny that that was the thing that he was saying when Sergio was going, I'm losing 3 seconds on the straight. What are you on about? At Ocon Okoff, Bottas ahead of both Mercedes. Valtteri had a very good weekend. Of course, he did finish in the end behind both Mercedes in P7, but had a very solid drive in that Alfa Romeo. Brilliant in qualifying. And I think that's a solid result for Valtteri. Now, I know we've come off the back of quite an exciting end to the race, but let's not forget the rest of it was very, very dull. At That Chap Zap, all F1 fans right now, we were praying for something. A rainstorm, a crash, a VSC to throw things in. I don't know, something. We didn't have anything until lap 41, I think it was. But before then, we did have a bit of a stinker. But I don't know if we can blame the track. I think it's just how it ended up, because once we had that safety car, it was pretty chaotic.
Who has won Tweet of the Week?
Alright, Tweet of the Week time now, and this one made me laugh. Of course, I've spoken a little bit about Crofty's blunders, and this one made me laugh very much. At Das Hauptschul1, damn, I'm pretty sure Raikkonen just overtook Leclerc. Oh dear. I mean, Crofty's he's a brilliant hype man, but he does have a mistake in him, doesn't he? Wow, it's getting hot here in Miami. The sun is beating down on me, so I apologise if I overheat and stop working. At The Lone Sculler, AWS predicts two-stop strategy. All the strategists, no. I don't like it when you see the graphic come up and it goes, two-stop strategy is probably the fastest. Yeah, then maybe a one-stop, and then all the teams like, nah, fam, one-stop. Because it gets your hopes up, doesn't it? You think, maybe this is going to be a decent, sort of pit-stop strategy battle. And it wasn't. And we even didn't see the Ferrari's pit when the safety car came out. I'll get into that because I got a bit of a rant in me. At B2000_Tom, when the grid walk is more entertaining than the actual race. I think overall, with the excitement at the end, maybe we could say that the race was a little bit more exciting than the grid walk. But wow, I'm still not over Martin Brundle. He just went sarcasm level 1000. Now, this was a problem in the race, and one of the reasons why Lando was stuck. At Fasciome, mid-pack at every turn. It was a train, a DRS train. Now, I don't know if this is the characteristics of the cars or what, but it just seems as though the slipstream isn't as powerful, and they just can't get through with the use of DRS unless it's like a really early activation. I don't know. It just chops and changes. At one point, someone's flying past halfway down the straight, and it's all good. The next thing you know, you've got a DRS train of about 5 cars. Usually, that lead conductor car has a pretty low downforce setup and is very quick in a straight line. Then all of a sudden, it's DRS City. At Tom R87, Miami DRS train. I think this sums up quite nicely the Miami vibes and then the train. At _Andy_F1, street circuits ain't it? Now this is controversial. I am once again asking to remove these circuits from Formula 1. Do we get rid of street circuits completely? I don't know. I don't think so. Like Baku, for example, that's quite a good track. We've had some brilliant races around there. I wouldn't get rid of street circuits completely. I don't think this circuit, as I've said, I don't think it's there's no potential for it whatsoever. I think there is, but some of it is very Formula E-esque with the last few, turns 14 to 16 being very fiddly. I don't think it's a Monaco where there's no saving the track in terms of entertainment. I don't know. Maybe I'm just high on Miami vibes. Now, we were all falling asleep, sort of just past the halfway distance. We're thinking, is anything going to happen? And then something small happened. At Max Meso, Alonso and Gasly collide. I think everybody just kind of slouched, or you're in your bed and you're drifting off, and then, oh! Alonso and Gasly come together. And you're thinking, oh, okay, maybe. But then we're thinking, oh, actually, they got away with it and it was fine. But we did have some action afterwards, didn't we? Now, I've spoken about McLaren's woes, and there is a meme about it, and it's actually quite a good one, so I'm going to include it as the beats come on, so I'm going to bounce whilst I talk about this one. At Diamonzo_, McLaren's strategy in quali versus race. And it's Patrick, it's SpongeBob, it's a win. I'm not sure when this joke will get old, but of course, reflecting on the 2021 Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, at Nuanced Humour, now is that all lapped cars may pass? Of course, after Lando crashing with Gasly, who seemed to have a big problem with his AlphaTauri, he couldn't steer. It was just a bit of a racing incident, really. And then we had the graphic come up about safety car and lapped cars may overtake. And it's just, it just feels a bit weird, doesn't it, seeing that? You just get a bit of flashbacks to last year. So yes, the safety car came out and it was carnage. Just complete action everywhere. We had a battle for the lead. We had Perez right behind Sainz, but with a power problem. The midfield were popping off. At F1 Kit 33, me seeing Leclerc almost overtaking Max, and Checo almost crashed with Sainz. Of course, Perez went for that serious dive bomb into turn 1, which I really enjoyed. Probably the only way he was ever going to get through was after Sainz making that small mistake. He went for it, didn't work out, but fair play to Sergio. And then the midfield, we need to talk a little bit about the F1 TV direction, actually. I'm going to put my phone away and just speak to you for 30 seconds, because it was actually not that great, was it? We had a lot of I remember Leclerc got very close to Verstappen at one point, and they cut to the crowd. I don't think there's anything I hate more. I would rather see a police patrol and USA helmets, football helmets, whatever they are, on the podium every single week over them cutting to the crowd when we're about to see a battle for the lead. Just stop. There was actually one point where you could see the cameraman was pointing at two American fans. They even said, "Oh, are we on?" and then started screaming. I'm not a fan of that. I'm not. At Crystal Horner, his sacrifice will not be forgotten. DNF, Lando. Lando took it for the team. He did. Thank you, Lando. I really appreciate it. Without him, it probably would have been a 2 out of 10 race, but I think it turned out to be maybe a 5, 5.5, maybe even 6 as a stretch. I can't even talk now because it's so hot. Oh, I just remembered that this happened. At Ashwick_Raj, Mick is out of the points. Mick was having such a good race. He was battling in the tail end of the points, and then he just sends it on Vettel. Now, I haven't seen the onboards, so just came out and recorded this straight after the race. Maybe it was a racing incident, but I thought maybe he deserved a penalty for the next race after just wiping Vettel out, but it was audacious. I like the fact that he didn't just, settle, but at the same time, I didn't also want him to crash out the points, and that's what he did. At Tilken, this is a great meme. Did we just become worst enemies? Of course, Vettel and Schumacher just, they are tightly knit, and I'm sure Seb will have a word with Mick and say, don't do that ever again. Come on, lad. You're better than this. I'm sure they're still going to be friends. There's a close bond there.
It's time for Social Media Team Championship.
Okay, Social Media Team Championship time now. And we've got some, I don't know, I feel like the teams were maybe a little bit too distracted by this Miami location. There wasn't a huge amount of banter and I didn't enjoy it. But anyway, we've got a top 3. Let's dive into it right now. In third place is Williams Racing. The almighty red hair. Albon gets another point. What a drive from Alex Albon in that Williams. It's clearly not very fast, but he managed to drag it to P10 with just a great drive. Alex is doing very well in his comeback to Formula 1, and you get a point as well in Social Media Team Championship. In second place, we have Scuderia AlphaTauri. Think Lewis had enough of our rear from Imola? He takes P6 from Pierre. Well done, AlphaTauri. You get 2 points. And finally, the winners of the Social Media Team Championship are BWT Alpine F1 team. Were they a fresh or scrubbed set, though, Aston Martin? Oh, there was lots of talk about jewellery, underwear, the works, but well done, Alpine. Maximum points for you. That's 1 point for Williams, 2 points for AlphaTauri, and 3 points for Alpine.
And now it's time for Race Rundown with your host, Matthew Gallagher.
Right, race rundown time now, and we had to move slightly the location because the camera was in the sun and then it started to explode in internal heat temperatures getting too high. So let's do this in one take because my cameraman has told me that has to be the case, otherwise I am finished and washed. The finishers of the Miami GP were Verstappen, Leclerc, Sainz, Perez, Russell, Hamilton. My internal temperatures are through the roof. Verstappen, Leclerc, Sainz, Perez, Russell, Hamilton, Bottas, Ocon, Alonso, Albon, Ricciardo, Stroll. I'm so washed. Verstappen, Leclerc, Sainz, Perez, Russell, Hamilton, Bottas, Ocon, Alonso, Albon, Ricciardo, Stroll, Tsunoda, Latifi, Schumacher, Magnussen, Vettel. There you go! The editor is fist pumping behind the camera. Lovely. And the non-finishers were Gasly, Norris, Show. Right, that is it. Thank you so much for watching the internet's best reactions to the 2022 Miami Grand Prix. What did you think of it? Let me know in the comment section below. Is it good for Formula 1? Is it bad for Formula 1? Was the track bad, but the whole experience good? Is it whatever? Just let me know in the comments, okay? Hashtag WTF1 if you want to get involved in future episodes. And if I pick you for Tweet of the Week, you win an amazing Fanatec prize. So thank you to Fanatec for sponsoring this entire season. And I'll see you in a couple of weeks' time for Spain. Will the new cars fix the problems of the Catalunya circuit? We'll find out. Bye!